Hey guys, what's up? It's me, TheDominusIgnis, and Robot Wars Series 10 has come and gone, so I wanted to look back at the heats, give my thoughts and feelings on them, give my thoughts and feelings on some of the robots, and look back at some of my predictions to see how accurate or inaccurate they were. I also just want to thank everyone for the support these videos have been getting. I was expecting these videos to maybe get like 60 views at the most, but they've been getting hundreds of views, which again has blown my expectations completely out of the water. So a huge thanks to everyone. So anyway, let's get into this. Week 1 had Sabretooth, Behemoth, Donald Thump, Apocalypse, The Swarm, and Apollo. The predictions were that I thought Apollo was going to win the heat, with Behemoth and Sabretooth getting into the 10 Robot Rumble. I was close, but it turned out something I was very happy to see. Behemoth won the heat. I have to say, when I was watching this, I was so happy to see Behemoth win. I didn't think they stood a chance. As great as the team is, Apollo is an incredibly powerful machine and was so much more powerful this series that I thought it was going to be one flip and Apollo was going to dominate. That turned out to not be the case. Behemoth was relentless in the heat final, and that proved, to be crucial in how the match went. So I was very happy to be slightly wrong there. So Behemoth went into the grand final, Apollo and Sabretooth got into the 10 Robot Rumble. I was a little saddened that Sabretooth's drum kept seeming to break down. They seem to be on the right track to having a truly devastating drum spinner, but the drum seemed to really let them down at times. Apocalypse really didn't get to show itself off that much. It didn't really get to show itself off at all. I'm not sure what went wrong for them, but they were out really quickly. It's a shame. The Swarm, they got bullied quite a bit. They might be a bit too light, like I said, but they're surprisingly durable. I'll give them that. For something so small going up against 100, 110 kilogram robots, they did seem to, last quite a bit. Donald Thump was very comedic. The spinner, I was a little bit uncertain about the spinner because I thought, hang on, that spinner looks quite big. I was wondering if it could have, quite a nice kick behind it. I was actually thinking of spinners like Electric Boogaloo when I had it. Obviously, I didn't think they were going to be that powerful, I should clarify, but when you see a spinner that big, you kind of think, well, maybe it's powerful. Turns out no, but they were a fun sight to see, so there is that. So yeah, Heat A was a pretty good heat in my opinion. I think the icing on the cake was the heat final. Very great battle between two amazing teams with two amazing robots, and the storytelling of the episode was amazing and it made you really feel good when Behemoth beat Apollo. Week 2 had Eruption, Aftershock, Crackers and Smash, Gabriel 2, Big Nipper, and Carbide. My predictions were that Eruption and Aftershock were going to get into the 10 Robot Rumble, and Carbide was going to win the whole thing. Turns out I was close once again. Eruption did go into the 10 Robot Rumble, and Carbide did win the whole thing, but Aftershock didn't. Instead, Big Nipper did. And now I'm not sure if in their fight, whether the gyro from the heavier disc has cost them dearly, or if Big Nipper just has the low ground clearance in the right places, but I was entirely wrong about the disc-on-disc clash that the two would have. Big Nipper is a surprisingly capable robot. I had forgotten a lot about the robot. I knew the robot was pretty good, but I couldn't remember how good it was. Turns out it's very good, actually. It sent one of the Crackers and Smash robots flying out of the arena with the power of the disc. So, yeah, Big Nipper is a very good machine. I don't know if it would have won the whole thing had it won the Rumble, but I didn't give Big Nipper enough credit, it seems. Crackers and Smash didn't really get to show itself off, which is a shame. I think we saw less of them than we did in the last series, in fact. So I'm wondering what they can do there. I'm sure that there's some improvements they can make, maybe make the weapons, beefier. But yeah, that's something that we'll probably see in a future series. Gabriel 2, we didn't get to see a lot of them after Aftershock killed them, but what we did see was pretty impressive, with them lasting the full 3 minutes against Carbide. I was very happy to see that. I didn't think that they were going to be able to do it, but lasting the full 3 minutes was very impressive. But yeah, so far my predictions aren't that far off. There's a few problems here and there, but still on track. Week 2 was a bit predictable, but it was still a very good heat with some great fights, and Big Nipper was surprisingly capable. Very good heat, and I definitely recommend it. Week 3 had Apex, Traction, Terahertz, Bucky the Robot, Vulture, and Rapid. Now, my predictions were that Apex and Rapid would get into the 10 Robot Rumble, and Terahertz would win the whole thing. Turns out this one was a little bit more off than the others, as Apex didn't get in at all, Terahertz gets into the Rumble, and Rapid won. Traction ends up getting into the 10 Robot Rumble, in fact, instead of Apex. This one had a few more twists and turns than I expected. Apex's bar spinner, if they can get it right for next time, looks like it could be more deadly than Carbide's. It smashed one of the polycarbonate sheets on Terahertz, and when it broke off, which while it was devastating, it smashed the polycarbonate sheet on the wall of the arena, putting to shame any wall-destroying moment in robot combat, in my opinion. I've never seen anything so utterly devastating. It even puts the whole Carbide and Aftershock segment from last series and makes it look like child's play in comparison. I was very happy to see it happen. It really made Apex look really good. I hope they can get all the problems of Apex sorted, as I imagine the robot could really shake things up if they can get themselves working. Even if they don't get very far, the sheer power of the bar is really impressive. I do kind of want to see what would happen if the extremely powerful Apex went against the indestructible Foxic. The two Danby machines collide. Also, I do know that there are more Danby machines out there, but those are my favourites. Anyway, Traction was surprisingly capable. I want to correct that I didn't know. I thought Traction and Bucky were more crushers, but they're actually gripper robots. So, my predictions of them were slightly off, so I want to correct that here. Anyway, Traction admittedly did get by on a lot of luck. Apex breaking itself and Vulture not being able to compete in the fight for the 10 Robot Rumble, but the robot does seem to be pretty good. I still think they're onto a winner here, and hopefully, next series we'll get to see an even more improved version. Terahertz, the axe is great. The team is, they really got to show off their experience here, as they dominated a lot of their fights, which was really good to see. It was great to see John Reed looking really happy winning his group battle. So yeah, Terahertz is still a great machine. Bucky, unfortunately the wedge is a bit too steep and the ground clearance doesn't seem to be that great. It's a shame. I think that the robot could be good next time if they can get that wedge to be a little bit less steep. Which from the looks of it they're going to do for next time. So thumbs up from me there. Vulture seemed to have almost the opposite problem to Apex. The spinner looks to be a bit too small. It didn't really seem to do much of anything. I think if they can make that a bit bigger, then I think Vulture might be onto something. It's a very unique and interesting design. So hopefully, they can work on those improvements. Rapid, by the way, thanks for the follow, Rapid, Team Rapid. Rapid was exceptionally good. The robot's extremely powerful. And on a side note, when we saw it in the grand final, I think Rapid might actually be the most powerful flipper in the world. Either way, the team are very good drivers. The flipper is exceptionally powerful. They really earned their victory. Honestly, week 3 is the Terahertz and Rapid show, but the driving of the two robots is exceptional, and you do get to see the perfect combinations of great machines and amazing drivers. So I would definitely recommend watching this episode as well. It's a great one. And plus, you get to see the shortest fight in Robot Wars history when Rapid flings Traction out of the arena. As a side note, keep in mind the arena is much bigger than the older arena. If this took place in the old arena, it would have probably been like 3 seconds long. Just keep that in mind. Anyway, week 4 had Androne 4000, Iron Ore 6, The Kegs, Tauron, Nuts 2, and Concussion. I thought Concussion and Tauron were going to go into the Rumble, and Iron Ore 6 were going to go into the Grand Final. Instead, Iron Ore 6 and Concussion went into the Rumble, and Nuts 2 won the whole thing. So, almost, but I didn't account for Nuts 2 being as good as it was. It was a genuine surprise, but, the robot didn't seem to face a lot of adversity. The robot, I didn't take into account anything about the robot. I just thought, oh, it's not going to do that well, but the flail seemed hit in just the right areas. The robot's pretty durable. The melty brain seems to work a wonder. It's a very good robot. That's all I can really say about it. Androne 4000, I was very happy to see it have a few moments of glory, beating Tauron, and in its group battle, piercing the bottom of Concussion. Androne 4000 is a robot that didn't get to really stick around that long, but I really hope that we can, see an improved version for next series, so I think they are still onto something. Speaking of Nuts 2 exposing weaknesses earlier, they really highlighted a concern I had about a weakness of Androne 4000 with that bit I felt was underprotected when they basically slit Androne's throat. Iron Ore 6, so disappointing to see because the flipper never worked. From what I can tell, it worked in the test arenas, but we never got to see it fire once in the entire series. Thankfully for them, it turned out that the wedge was incredibly low to the ground, but I think we could have seen so much more from Iron Ore 6. It's such a shame. Hopefully next series we'll get to see a robot like Iron Ore 7 in the arena, and hopefully the team will get to really show off what they can do, because I know they can do better than this. And I can only imagine the frustration the team had. The Kegs did about as well as I expected. I didn't think the Kegs would hold up very well to attacks from the opponents, and they didn't. They got completely shattered by Concussion. I didn't expect anything less, though I will say, the fact that they can hold beer still, 10 out of 10 robots in my opinion. I think they should join up with the team from Nuts and hold the team captain's cider. Oh dear. Anyway, Tauron, unfortunately it didn't seem to deliver as much as I was expecting. The robot is definitely improved, but unfortunately, apart from hitting the armor panels off of Androne, it doesn't seem to quite yet have the oomph it needs. I think it's got, I think it's made a definite improvement, and with a bit more time, I'm sure that the robot's going to be even more powerful and will likely be a threat in the future. But here, it didn't seem to really deliver the hits it needed. Concussion is definitely much better as well. It seemed that the Nutbuster wheel guards really let it down in the end. It seemed to trap it when it got flipped upside down, which I think cost it in the end. It made it so it couldn't get away from Shunt, and, well, Shunt dealt the killing blow. So yeah, overall, this heat, I think maybe it was one of the weaker heats, but I still think it was okay. I think it was a pretty good heat, with some surprising twists and turns. Week 5 had Coyote, Expulsion, Hobgoblin, Magnetar, Push to Exit, and Fall. Now, what was that beg I had for Ellis in my first predictions video? Ellis, please let Magnetar win. It looks so good. Yeah, that clip. Well, it turns out Ellis heard me from up above and made Magnetar an absolute killing machine. Oh, it was so good to see. Magnetar really has... I think Magnetar is the perfection of Pulsar. Ellis has really made the killing machine that I think he's always wanted to make, and I'm very happy for him. Now, when it came to my predictions, I think I said it was going to be Magnetar and Push to Exit in the Rumble, with Thor winning the whole thing. Turns out this one was one of my more inaccurate ones, as Thor and Expulsion got into the Rumble, and Magnetar won the whole thing. Now, Coyote didn't really get to show itself off all too much. I think it was just a case of unlucky draws, really. There wasn't really a whole host of robots that it could do a whole lot to, and Roadrunner was about as effective as I expected, which is a shame. Expulsion, the weapon isn't that powerful, but the robot is exceptionally durable. The armor, while internally the robot got pounded by Magnetar, the armor seemed to surprisingly hold up. I just think they need to figure out a way to deal with, being stranded on their face. But huge applause to them for getting into the 10 Robot Rumble. The robot is very good, in my opinion, and it's shown a definite improvement over the last series. Hobgoblin, unfortunately, didn't really get to show itself off. I think potentially the weapon isn't that powerful yet. Massive shame. I think that they are still onto something. I think once they get the power behind that spinner, it could be a very deadly robot to go up against, though. So, maybe next series. Magnetar, as I said, I think is the perfection of the Pulsar formula. Push to Exit kind of made me sad. I can tell that the robot's really good. I would even call it the Firestorm of modern Robot Wars, but unfortunately, luck just wasn't on their side. Something was going wrong with the robots, and it meant that the robot couldn't deliver. I imagine if the robot was working at 100%, they would have gotten into the 10 Robot Rumble easily in this heat. But, unfortunately, it just didn't work out. So, hopefully we get to see them again next series. All the problems worked out. I think we have much more to see from Push to Exit. And Thor was once again, as ever, an incredible axe bot that's really well driven, that unfortunately didn't really get that unfortunately got hit in the weak spot. I'm thinking that he might need to rethink the armor, try and get those areas better protected if he can. But overall, the robot is surprisingly capable despite the fog of Thor. I'd say for Thor and especially Magnetar, Week 5 once again is a great heat to watch. The robots are especially good, and it's really good to see Ellis's hard work finally pay off in spades. So then we had the 10 Robot Rumble. Now, remember, my predictions were that the 3 final robots were going to be Apollo, Thor, with Eruption winning the whole thing. It turned out I was close there. I was actually surprisingly close there. It turned out it was Terahertz, Apollo, and Eruption winning the whole thing. The fact that I got the winner right, given that I was a 1 in 10 chance, I was very happy with. Now, Terahertz was surprisingly good. The experience clearly showed off there. Even when Killalot tried to send it over the wall, the robot was just very capable, and Apollo getting stuck in from the beginning and still being the last robot eliminated shows that the robot is a force to be reckoned with. I've seen some people get down on Apollo, but the robot is very, something to be feared. Just because it didn't, win the Rumble doesn't mean that it's not incredibly good. But Eruption had the perfect game plan, their flipper is nice and powerful, and generally, it deserved its victory. I also want to say that I was correct on some of the stuff, I had the feeling that Iron Ore's flipper wasn't going to work, and turned out I was right, unfortunately. Again, I hope to see the Iron Ore team next series, maybe with Iron Ore 7 instead of Iron Ore 6, and we get to see what they can really do. Anyway, the final 6 robots are Behemoth, Carbide, Rapid, Nuts 2, Magnetar, and Eruption. My predictions here were for the final 4 robots was I thought Carbide was going to win the whole thing and do a Chaos 2, with second place being Magnetar, third place being Rapid, and fourth place being Behemoth. Turns out I was very wrong in this case, and oh my god, I was more than happy with the final results of this heat. This episode went so well. I'm going to just say right here, this might be the greatest grand final in Robot Wars history. It really was an amazing sight to see. But the results were like this. Third place turned out to be two robots. Turns out they didn't have a third place fight. But third place was Nuts 2 and Behemoth, which I was really happy to see. A robot many people consider a joke robot. In fact, I wrote off Nuts 2 as well, I'll admit. Getting third place with a design that many people consider outdated, but I was very supportive of in Behemoth. To see them both get third place, very great to see. Very happy for both of the teams. And Magnetar and Rapid are incredibly good designs, but it seems that luck just wasn't in their favour. Magnetar burning out in its match against Behemoth, which was a massive shame. I'm really sad that they, broke like they did. Though I will admit, I was kind of correct in one of my predictions, how Behemoth would get third place if one of the robots broke down. Turns out both Magnetar and Rapid broke down. But yeah, it's a shame, but Magnetar is such an improvement over Pulsar. So, regardless, I'm very happy for Ellis. Rapid, in its display, it might be the most powerful flipper ever, but ultimately, its fatal flaws were the bungee broke and Carbide destroyed it. Had the bungee not broken, Rapid might have won the group battle. It's ridiculously powerful. Like I said, I think it might be the most powerful flipper in the world. It makes Apollo and Bronco look, well, not weak, but it kind of puts them to shame, in my opinion. It's a very good machine. And, yeah, unfortunately, it just got beaten by Carbide and had bad luck in its group battle. Once again, thanks again for the follow, Team Rapid. They've said that they're going to do improvements, the robot's going to be even more durable, and I think they even said the flipper's going to be more powerful, which, oh god, how are they going to get it to be more powerful? I mean, did you see them try to self-right? That thing was doing 2 flips. Crazy, but the robot is very good. But yeah, unfortunately, luck wasn't on their side, and the robot's armor wasn't strong enough to deal with Carbide, which proves that I was wrong about the durability of the robot. And then finally, the champion is Eruption. Carbide got second place. I thought when these two robots were going to collide, that was going to be it. Eruption was just going to get trashed like it always does, and Carbide was going to win. I was like, okay, that's it. But then when Carbide's weapon started to break, Eruption really started to dominate the fight. And when I saw the final sight of Carbide running away from Eruption, I realised what was going to happen. I realised the judges were going to vote in favour of Eruption. It was honestly an amazing twist to the grand final, and seeing Eruption finally beating Carbide was a great sight to see. Overall, this heat was a really amazing one. I'm glad I was wrong in so many areas about my predictions, because this was an incredible grand final. I wrote off Nuts 2, but it managed to disable the weapon chain of Carbide. While Carbide is seemingly going to retire and the team's going to focus on a new robot called Tungsten, which I don't know anything about, I think this was a great send-off for the robot. Behemoth did really well, the robot's very reliable, and the team are very good drivers, so they very much deserve their place in the third spot with Nuts 2, which turned out to be a very capable flail robot, potentially showing that flails are a serious consideration once again. Magnetar and Rapid are incredible robots that unfortunately just had problems at the end, and that cost them dearly. Carbide, an amazing spinner. It's a shame we're not going to see more of it in the future, but what it did give us was incredible, and Eruption more than deserved their victory. they might be the best UK flipper team at the moment, with Eruption in the heavyweights and Explosion in the featherweights. They're an incredible team, and they more than deserve this championship. Overall, I think this might be the best series of Robot Wars ever. Even in some of the weaker heats, I thought that they were at least alright, and some of the fights throughout the heats are amazing. Stuff like Rapid versus Terahertz is a classic, in my opinion. Behemoth versus Apollo, Carbide versus Eruption. This stuff was full of amazing fights, and there were lots of twists and turns throughout. But yeah, so that was Robot Wars Series 10. I'm honestly really happy to have seen that. I think it's really raised the bar for what we should expect from Robot Wars. I hope that they can continue to deliver this kind of high quality entertainment. It puts Series 8 and 9 to shame, in my opinion, and really highlights the problems with the round robin format from before. Now, on a final note, I just want to point out that Robot Wars is going to have a special episode on the 31st of December, and I'm assuming on the 7th of January or something. And on that episode, we're going to see the return of Dietor. And from what I can see from a blurry photo, it might have a vertical spinner now. But still, oh my god, we're going to see Dietor again. That's great. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, me looking back at my predictions, giving my thoughts and feelings. I'm TheDominusIgnis. Bye guys!